Welcome to day 17 of 40 seconds for 40 days. The Gemara in Brachos on Samach Aleph and Beis makes the following amazing statement. A conversation between Rabba and Abaye regarding what a Beinoni is and who is considered a Beinoni. We, of course, know that there is something called the Rasha, the Tzaddik, the wicked, and the righteous, and then a Beinoni, the person in the middle. Most of us associate with Beinoni. And the comment that Rabba makes is trying to define what a Beinoni is. He says, Kagon anu Beinonim, like I'm a Beinoni, I'm someone that's in the middle. Abaye says back to him, excuse me, Lo shavik marchei l'chol beria. If you're a Beinoni, you're not leaving room for anyone else to be considered a Beinoni. If you're here, then most of us are going to be way down here then. How are we to understand the words of Rabbah? And perhaps we can understand, according to the initial understanding of how Abaye took it, that the glass half empty, meaning that most of us are in a lot of trouble if Rabbah himself is considered a Beinoni. However, perhaps what Rabbah was trying to do was that he was trying to give chizuk to all of us. He was trying to say, of course you are all Beinonim. Everyone out there, you're all Beinonim. But I'm also a Beinoni. Maybe we're at very different levels. He wouldn't say this, but we know this to be true. Clearly, we're at different levels. None of us is on the level of Rabbah, but Rabbah, at his own level, was a Beinoni. He was in the middle. What does that mean exactly? We don't know. Someone as great as Rabbah, we can't even fathom the greatness of Rabbah. But I'm reminded of a story. When I was learning in yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, in Yeshivat HaKotel, there was Rav Avigdor Nevitzal, one of the great Gedolim of our time. And he would sit there and he would cry on Yom Kippur, and I think even on Rosh Hashanah as well. He was crying. And one of my Rebbeim once commented, what in the world is he crying about? What did he do that was so wrong? And the answer is that he probably didn't do any of the sins that most of us are familiar with, but perhaps in his mind, he committed a sin that was relevant for his level. He's a great Gadol Hador, but he did something perhaps that was wrong according to his calculation that maybe he should not have done because he is such a great. Reminded, of course, of the famous fact that Moshe Rabbeinu also had seemingly committed a few sins in his lifetime. He hit the rock, etc., etc. Sins that we cannot comprehend, but in theory do place even the greatest of the greats not in the category of tzaddik gamor because they have one flaw, but perhaps they are considered a Beinoni because they are somewhere in the middle. They are not totally 100% filled with mitzvos with zero averos. And perhaps the strength and the chizuk that we have to take from this is quite simple. That Rabbah is a Beinoni, and so too we are Beinonim. If someone as great as Rabbah is somewhere in the middle, but yet he is able to be so great, so too all of us who are somewhere in the middle, maybe some of us are even on the lower end of the middle, we too can be so great, maybe even as great as Rabbah. Shavua Tov, everyone should have a great week.